I was arrested for a crime I didn't do, based on false evidence. Charges were dropped, but my pets died while I was in jail, and I've been unemployed over a year as a result. Is there any recourse? A little over a year ago, the police rang my doorbell at 2 in the morning and arrested me when I answered the door. I got to jail around 3 a.m. and stayed in the waiting area until 10 p.m. that night. I had no food that entire day. I was then moved into a jail cell where I was held for 2 days. I finally got to see a judge who informed me that I was arrested for sexually assaulting someone. I also got to see a social worker that day who helped me call a bail bondsman. We got that sorted out, but it took another 1.5 days for me to get released. I was in jail for a total of 5 days. Apparently, the reason I was in jail for so long and things moved so slowly is that the jail has a policy of only moving inmates in certain minimum group sizes. Crime was so slow that they weren't hitting the group sizes for a long time. That's why I sat in the waiting room all day, and why it took 4 days to get to a judge and be released. When I got home, I found my 2 cats dead. I think they died of dehydration. I was also fired from my job because my arrest was publicized. I hired a criminal defense lawyer. What we discovered is that the victim of this crime gave 3 totally different descriptions to the police when she called 911, the next day when she talked to an investigator, and a few days later when she remembered the details about me. Each description of the person and the car they drove was completely different. Ultimately, the case got dropped because I had a very strong alibi. My security cameras showed me and my car at home while the crime occurred. It's been 16 months, and I still haven't been able to get a job because the news articles about my arrest are still at the top of my Google search results. I paid my lawyer to get my arrest record cleaned up, so I think I have a clean background check, or at least will at some point soon, but I still can't even get a company to interview me due to the news articles. I spoke to my lawyer to see if I have any legal recourse for any of this. To me, it seems like incompetent detective work led to my life being destroyed. My pets are dead. My career has been destroyed. I'm unemployed. I'm publicly humiliated. My attorney says there is nobody to sue here. Apparently, this is how the justice system is supposed to operate. There was evidence from a victim, the police followed up with an arrest, and charges were dropped once they realized it was a mistake. Everything else that has happened is apparently just an accepted consequence. Apparently, it's also normal for victims of traumatic crimes to have memory issues and accuse random people after the crime occurs. Something about trauma causing false memories to be generated. Is this right? Do I have any recourse here? It feels like my life has been ruined, and I'm supposed to just accept it. Location: Texas. Now for the advice. The police have immunity, so there is no recourse there. Some mugshot sites let you pay to have the picture removed, so you can try that, and you can also pay to expunge the arrest and court record. Aside from that, all you can do is explain the situation to potential employers if it comes up on background checks. And as a more extreme measure, you can change your name to dodge the Google search results. Individual police officers have immunity. The police department or city does not. Even if the officers had acted appropriately in regards to his pets, the career issue is really the news article. Even if he has his record cleaned up, that's outside of what the courts can do. But as long as they reported the facts, arrested for X, I mean, it's the truth. Even if the court of public opinion says that means guilty, the news article itself doesn't. Could he ask them to take it down? Sure, but they legally wouldn't have to. It's not fair that people make the assumption they do, but who here actually is acting in bad faith? Again, in regards to his career and criminal record besides the companies. You can't force them to give someone an interview. It's not right. It's not fair. But what can you actually do besides request, not demand, the arrested for video or article get edited or removed? Do you know the victim? Did police come to you based on your name being given to them? Just a physical description of you? I would imagine there's some sort of misconduct on each entity that participated in the events. That's a crappy situation all around. And I hate that not only someone was assaulted and the assailant wasn't found, but that now your life is impacted because of it. No, I don't know how this lady got my information. She reported my license plate number to the police a few days after the crime and picked me out of a photo lineup, although that's shoddy too. My best guess is that a few days after the crime, I went to a restaurant in the area of town where she lives. I've been assuming she somehow combined a memory of seeing me that evening near the restaurant with the evening when her attack happened. It was a few blocks from that restaurant. My lawyer actually pursued the path that this might have been something vindictive. We hired a private investigator to look into her, and they didn't find anything. Honestly, I've heard some of the recordings of her talking to the police and investigators. She seems completely traumatized, broken, and genuine. That's absolutely heartbreaking. Though your lawyer said there's not anyone you can go after, that may not be completely true, as they are likely someone who specializes in criminal law and may not know all the workings of civil cases. Check out any locally known auto injury, wrongful death, workers' comp, etc. attorneys, and contact them. You may have more options than you know. Plus, some of the better-known attorneys won't charge you up front and will just take a percentage if the responding party settles or the judge rules in your favor. While at this point in time your name may be tarnished, your life will continue. Just keep trying to find work, and if the subject of your case comes up, take the time to explain it to them if they'll hear it. Give them proof of the outcome of the case, and show them that there was no conviction. Worst case scenario, you may have a period where you have to work construction or in the restaurant industry. I'm unsure of Texas laws, but in Missouri, the "have you been charged with, convicted, pled guilty to" questions go back 7 years. Also, keep an eye on smaller businesses who are hiring, as they are less likely to have rules and regulations that many corporations have, which are unfriendly towards people who have been in the legal system. Next story. Ex-girlfriend attempted suicide, died for a couple of minutes. I brought her back with CPR. Then she filed a TRO against me. I defended myself in court and won without a lawyer. I'm a 30-year-old guy from Mexico. I lived in Atlanta for a while and opened a small Brazilian bar. I speak Portuguese, and most of my friends are Brazilian. I met this girl from Portugal, and we started dating. A few months in, she fought with her roommate when the lease ended. She had nowhere to go, so I let her move in with me. I was living alone with my dog in a 3-bedroom place. Later, her family came from Portugal, and I even let them stay too. Things were good. We even started a cleaning company that was doing really well. We rented a bigger place together. She was great, except she sometimes drank too much. The lease was under my name since I had the papers. The day we moved in, we had a dumb fight. Don't even remember why. Fights kept happening, so eventually, we agreed to break up, but keep the business 50-50 and live together until the lease ended. One night, her mom knocked on my door, saying my ex was acting weird. I checked, and she was just drunk and half asleep. We even joked a little, and I told her mom to let her rest. The next day around 8 p.m., I heard her weakly calling my name. I went to her room, and she was vomiting. I thought it was a hangover, but when she looked at me, she was pale, lips blue, barely talking. She pointed at the bed, half-empty bottle of Tylenol and pills scattered. She had overdosed. I called 911 and checked her pulse. While on the phone, she stopped breathing. Pure panic. I started CPR. Paramedics showed up and took her away. She survived but spent 10 days in the hospital and 10 more in a psych hospital. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. During that time, she didn't want me to leave her side. After she came home, she even slept in my room again because she didn't want to be alone. For about a week, things felt normal, then chaos again. What really messed me up, though, was what happened that night. Watching her literally die in my arms messed with my head. After she got out of the hospital, I couldn't eat and dropped almost 15 kilograms, about 30 pounds, because I just never felt hungry. I couldn't sleep more than 2 hours a night. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see her face turning blue. Later, I realized it was PTSD, but at the time, I just thought I was falling apart. She started seeing someone else almost immediately. Whatever, we were done. But one day, she barged into my room telling me she was renting my room and I needed to move out. I laughed and kicked her out of my room. The lease had all our names anyway. A week later, I was eating breakfast when 6 sheriffs banged on the door with guns out. She had filed a restraining order against me, saying I threatened and hit her. They escorted me out with only my dog. No wallet, no cash, no clothes. For 2 weeks until court, I lived in my Camaro with my dog. I showered at the gym and used quick-trip bathrooms. I tried to get pro bono help, but nobody took it. One night, cops woke me up after someone reported me. I explained my situation, and one of them said, "Wait, do you live in that house with the X cars outside?" Turns out they were the same cops from the night I did CPR. They couldn't believe it. They gave me the report number and their names and said they'd testify if needed. Court day came. She had her family, 3 friends, and a lawyer. I had just me, LOL. I was nervous as heck and thought I was screwed. But in the end, the judge didn't believe a word of her lies. The judge even warned her not to use the court system for revenge again, or she could face charges. I walked out relieved, but when I got back home, my room was emptied. Cash, cards, passport, visa, gone. My flight back to Mexico was in a couple of days anyway, so I ended the lease, paid the penalty, donated my stuff, left my car outside, and went back to Mexico. What a nightmare. Everything was fine except she sometimes drank too much. Red flag number 1. Either they address it or it escalates. Sorry you learned that in a real hard way. Hope things are going better for you now. Totally agree. Trying to play superhero and save everyone isn't for me anymore. My little adventure of starting a business in the US is over, but I gained a lot of experience from it. Right now, I'm finishing my master's in software development, and things are going great here in Mexico. Thanks for reading. That just sucks. The justice system in the US is top-notch, right? Honestly, I'd say it's 50-50. The justice system in the US is incredibly good, in the sense that I didn't run into corruption or anything like that. In Mexico, I probably would have been jailed right away on an accusation like this without anyone needing proof. But at the same time, the fact that they kicked me out of my own house with no real evidence definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Should have delayed going back to Mexico for a couple of days and gotten her in trouble for stealing your visa, passport, and cards. Oh, believe me, I wanted to. Retaliation was the only thing on my mind, but time wasn't on my side. No cash, no cards other than Apple Pay, and my stay in the US was about to expire in just a few days, so leaving the country was urgent. I still have all the information about her and her family, so maybe at some point I'll come up with something, though I'm not sure if I'll have the stomach to actually go through with it, haha. Last story, falsely accused and it's ruining my mental health. I need to talk. I just need to tell someone. I'm feeling extremely suicidal and just really would like to be heard. A girl I hooked up with from Tinder reported me for a rape that never occurred a few years ago. I found out last week. I found out she filed a report years ago because my social media is now being issued warrants by my local court. They don't know my identity, which is why I'm assuming they're going to crazy lengths. I came to this country as a preteen with nothing, poverty, disabled brother I take care of. I had to drop out of college to support my siblings and eventually found my way in life. I've built something good for myself. It's now all threatened by a hookup I had. Luckily, I recorded the encounter with consent. She tried to pressure me into dating her after she found out I was well off, and I kept rejecting her. I ended up blocking her. Although I haven't been asked for a statement yet, I know it's a matter of time before they unveil my identity and either go straight for my throat with trial or ask for a statement. I doubt they'd be wasting all this time for just a statement. The scary part was, there were multiple people in the house when we did the deed. They could have easily all given statements that I violated her after the video stopped. I'm terrified. I didn't rape her. It was consensual. I'm terrified of my evidence not being enough. I'm terrified of going to jail and leaving my disabled brother to fend for himself and leaving my elderly mother alone. I'm terrified of losing the girl I'm currently in a serious relationship with. I'm terrified of it all. I never violated anyone. I just didn't want to date her. I made it very clear before meeting. I'm scared. I haven't slept in days. I haven't eaten anything. I just had to force myself to eat something and it made me want to throw up. I feel lightheaded and nauseous. I can't help but think about ending my life. I know it's not a better option. I know it doesn't solve anything. I just don't want to feel this way. I haven't done anything in my life to deserve this false accusation. I've never hurt anyone. I've never stolen. I've never caused harm. I just didn't want to date her. I keep going over the entire 3-week connection with this woman in my head and every chat log I have saved. It looks good for me, but part of me keeps telling me it won't hold up. I'm terrified. If anyone has similar experiences in the past they can share, please do. I'm in the US. Same. I want to know what she freaking said. This stuff makes you freaking afraid of even having any contact with others. I feel betrayed. I feel freaking hopeless. I am in constant pain, on top of a current illness I'm dealing with. Why do they even convince and assume that the other person is trusted? Because it's easy to put the accused on trial, and not the accuser. Yeah, rape shield laws are BS. Weaponized justice system, that's what it is. We are here for you. Many people in this group are going through similar struggles. I also am struggling with not being able to sleep well and not feeling hungry. But if I don't eat, it is worse. So I try to make myself eat something, and I usually feel better after that. I try to take a long walk in the morning. I practice silent meditation. I take antidepressants and have for a long time. But even that couldn't prevent a major depressive episode when I got laid off a few weeks ago, 4 months before trial. Have you already hired a lawyer? If warrants or subpoenas have already been issued, then the legal process has begun. Hire a lawyer, and don't talk to any cops without first consulting with your lawyer. If you need to invoke your Fifth Amendment right, say so. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. That is recommended, over just not saying anything at all. Try to spend time with people who care about you. If therapy is an option, that will likely help with the mental health aspect. I wish you luck and triumph. I have known of people who have had similar experiences. You need to get a really good lawyer. That's the only advice I can provide. I knew of a woman who was accused by a man of inappropriate advances. The community upheld him. Then they ruined the woman's life completely by making other false accusations. Based on the accusations, the police searched her apartment for illegal drugs. It remains to be seen whether the police will accept the planted evidence. However, they most likely will go through with some lawsuit. My friend is a beautiful, accomplished woman who has had a successful life. I think most of what has happened to her is the work of mentally ill Karens who own the police and use the same tactics against their ex-husbands. These Karens call my friend regularly and try to push her out of the community. If someone thinks Karens don't ruin lives, look no further than this case.